Okay, we're going to start at the, good morning everyone, sorry. We're going to start at the top of Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. There is one word remaining from Tez Zayin Amud Beis, the word Amri. So, the Gemara is going to continue its discussion of Pigul, having Pigul intent during part of the process, extending to other parts of the process. A little bit similar discussion to what we had yesterday through the end of the parak. So Amri Charife de Pumpadisa, the Charife de Pumpadisa, Rashi points out these are Efa and Avimi, the sons of Rechavod from Pumpadisa. We've encountered them before, so they are called the Charife, the sharp ones of Pumpadisa. They said the following: Haktara mifageles haktara. If a person had intent during a pigul intent during one haktara, having in mind to do another haktara, so we know that there are two haktaras that we're discussing with regard to the carbon mincha. There's the haktara of the komets, and then there's the haktara of the levona. So if during the process of burning the komets, a person has a pigul intent to offer up the levona, either in the wrong place or at the wrong time, so that will incur the halacha of pigul. So va'afilu l'Rabbanan, and even according to Rabbanan, we had a machlokas yesterday between the Chachamim, the Rabbanan, and Meir. So even the Rabbanan who generally hold the Amrei ein mifagim l'chati matir, we know that the Rabbanan hold that generally speaking, if a person has a pigul intent during part of a matir, we know that the matirim of a mincha are split. There's the matir of the komets, and then there's the matir of the levona. So even though generally speaking, if a person only has pigul intent during one of those stages, the Chacham hold that's not considered to be pigul. So va'afilu Rabbanan da'amri ein mifagim l'chati matir, hanimili. When is that speaking about? When do they hold their halacha? Hecha dechishev be b'shirayim. That's only when the pigul intent was during one of the matirim, and what was his intention? His intention was the remainder that I'm going to be eating later on, the shirayim, I'm going to either eat them in the wrong place or at the wrong time. That's that's their general halacha that you'd have to have in mind during both parts of the matirim. Ulevona b'milsa kaima, and there was no specific intent with respect to the levona. However, avol, but in this case, why is this case different? Dechishev la b'levona. His mind is on the levona. Even though he's doing the haktara, he is burning now the komets, he is thinking about, he is having some sort of pigul intent with respect to that levona. So therefore we consider it to be kima dechishev be b'kulei mater. We view this as though he is having a pigul intent during the entire mater. What does it mean? He is the activity he is doing is the matir of the burning of the komets. His pigul intent is with respect to the levona. So essentially, all of the categories of the matirim for this mincha are in his either physical active process or his thought process while he is having this pigul intent. Therefore, even the Chacham will consider this to be a valid pigul because all of the matirim are involved in his pigul thought, essentially, at this point. Therefore, they would agree in this case. Okay. Amar Rava, so Rava brings support to the Charife de Pumpadisa. Afanan nami tinina. We have a similar ruling that supports this halacha. Zeh haklal, as follows. This is the general rule. It's quoting a brisa here. Zeh haklal. This is the general rule. Kol hakometz, a person who does a kmitza, v'nosen b'kli, and he then places the komets in the kli to be mekadesh it, v'hamolich, and a person who brings the komets to the mizbeach, v'hamaktir, and the person who offers up the komets on the mizbeach. So if he does any of those things, lechol davar shedarko lechol, if his intent is to eat something which is generally eaten, meaning the komets is not eaten, the komets is burned, the shirayim are eaten. Okay, so if his thought process is what? Lechol davar shedarko lechol, to eat that which is generally eaten, to eat the shirayim, let's say, with some sort of pigul intent at the wrong time in the wrong place, or ulahaktir davar shedarko lahaktir, or he has in mind to burn that which is generally burned, to burn the komets, and or during the wrong time or in the wrong place. So chutz, the Mishnah the Brisa will speak this out. If his intent is chutz l'makomo, if his intent is during any of those processes, the thing that he generally eats or the thing that he generally burns, his thought is chutz l'makomo, to burn it outside of its proper place. So pasul ve'ein bo kares. So it is not valid. The carbon is not valid. However, it does not carry with it the kares. Now, however, chutz lizmano, if his intent is to, and we'll see in a minute what exactly the support is, but chutz lizmano, if his intent is to offer these things up, the komets or burning the komets, or perhaps, or his intent is to eat the shirayim chutz lizmano, outside of the proper time, so that is considered to be a case of pigul, the chayav molav kares. So that's a regular halacha that we're familiar with. Now, my lav, the fact that the Brisa stated all of these cases in succession, hakomets, v'nosin bekli, v'hamolich, v'hamakdir, so Gemara wants to assume, my lav haktara dumya dahanach. So obviously, the Gemara is going to explain what this means in a second, but haktara should have the same parameters as the other three cases. What does that mean? Mahanach, just like the other cases, bein la'achol, bein lahaktir. Whether a person's intention is what? Is to eat the shirayim, or whether a person's intent is to burn the komets. So, whether a person's intent while he's doing any of those processes is either that I'm going to do something to this komets, or I have an erroneous intent with respect to the shirayim. Either of those thought processes are going to render the mincha as pigul. So that's true for certainly with respect to the first three. So Gemara says, so af haktara, so too when the person is doing the haktara, bein lechol, bein lahaktir, those two things should be true as well. The case should follow, right? If we want to make it symmetrical, the case should follow that when you're doing the haktara, he should also be able to have, if a person has those two same types of thought processes, there should be a pigul, resulting pigul. Bein lahaktir, bein lechol, bein lahaktir. And so what does that mean? So let's think about the case for a second. The person is now burning the komets. So what would it mean that he would have a thought process of being maktir something either in the wrong place or at the wrong time? The komets itself he's burning now, so his thought process is not about the komets because he's actually doing what he's supposed to be doing with the komets. It must mean that he's having a thought process of haktara with respect to the levona. So if that's the case, then we see this brisa is discussing a similar case to what the Charifit de Propadisa said, that when a person is doing the haktara of the komets and he has a pigul thought, a pigul machshava about the burning of the levona, that will still, everyone will agree in that case that that's considered to be a case of pigul. That's how the Gemara wants to prove from this brisa that a support to the Charifit de Propadisa. So Gemara says, lo, that is not necessarily the correct reading of the brisa. You don't have to assume that the brisa in each case is addressing achila and aktara. What does it mean? Meaning to say, the Gemara says, Hanach, those first three cases are cases of one bein lechel, bein lahaktir, cases of whether you have an intent with respect to the thing which you're eating or the intent with respect to the thing you're burning. But haktara only has at this point, because you're burning the komets, the only thing you can have in mind is really the achila, the subsequent eating of the shirayim. But there's no more haktara anymore. And if you had intent to to do an improper haktara with respect to the levona, that would not necessarily be considered to be a case of pigul. So lechol in lahakter lo. So that's how you would read the brisa. So therefore, the brisa is no longer support to the Charifit de Propadisa. So Yasser Rav Menachos bar Gada kamed Abaya. Rav Menachos bar Gada was sitting in front of Abaya. V'Yasser v'ka'amar mishmei Rav Chisda, and he stated over the following halacha in the name of Rav Chisda. Ein haktara mifagelas haktara. So haktara, if a person's doing a haktara, like this is basically the halacha of the the case of the Charifa de Pupadisa, that Haktara cannot affect, if a person has during one Haktara a Pigul thought about another Haktara, it will not result in Pigul. Okay? Va'afilu Rameir, and even according to Rameir, the Amr Mefagel Lechatzi Matir, so this is actually taking a 180-degree turn on what the Charifa de Pupadisa say. And even Rav Meir, who generally holds that even if a person has a Pigul intent during part of a Matir, right? The Amr Mefagel Lechatzi Matir, Hani Mila, when does Rav Meir hold this halacha? Hecha Dechishevu B'Shirayim. That's only when a person is offering up the komets, and let's remember that the komets is a matir of the shirayim. You are allowed to eat the shirayim because you're offering, at least in part, because you're offering up the komets. So when does Rav Meir hold this halacha? When you have a pigul intent during part of the matir, but your intent is with respect to whatever you're permitting, the item that you're permitting, which are the shirayim. Hani mili heche dechishe. We're in the first wide line on Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. Hani mili heche dechishe bu b'shirayim. That's only when your pigul intent is being directed towards what? Towards the shirayim. B'shirayim the komets. Why? The komets matir the two, because the komets is the matir of the shirayim. That's the general case. Alachacha the komets lav matir de levonahu. Granted, you are having an intent with respect to the levona, but the komets doesn't do anything for the levona. The komets is not matir you then to bring the levona. You offer the komets and you offer the levona. It's not a matir of the levona. So therefore, aval the komets lav matir de levona who lo. Rav Meir would not agree in this case, and Rav Meir would actually hold that this is not a case of pigul. So this statement from Rav Chisda is obviously the opposite of the Charifa de Pupadisa, whereas the Charifa de Pupadisa held that everyone would agree in this case that it is a case of Pigul. The Rav Chisda seems to be saying that everyone would agree in this case that it's not a case of Pigul. Even Rav Meir would agree in this case that it's not a case of Pigul. So Amar le Abaye, so Abaye said to Rav Menachos, Ani Mari Mishmei de Rav, answer me the following. Mari Mishmei de Rav, did Rav Chisda say this halacha in the name of Rav? Amar le'in, yeah. He did say this in the name of Rav, and I guess that was supporting he just gives some more validity to the statement. So Itmar Nami, so the Gemara now is going to bring a support to this. On Rav Chisda, Itmar Nami, and the Gemara brings a support that Rav Chisda actually did in fact say it in the name of Rav. Itmar Nami, Amar Rav Chisda, Amar Rav. Ein haktar mefagelas haktara. So he said a general statement that in the name of Rav that haktara cannot be mefagelas haktara against the Charifa de Pupadisa. Some Rav Yaakov bar Idi Mishmei da Abaye afanan namitinus. So now the Gemara is now going to bring a support for this halacha, for the halacha of Rav Chisda. It's going to try to be a support to Rav Chisda, and I think it's going to be ultimately end up being rejected, but let's see the halacha. So Tanina, again, the Gemara is bringing support that everyone agrees that haktara, if you have in mind during one haktara for another haktara, that it's, according to everyone, it's not considered to be a case of pigul. So Tanina, we learned the following halacha. Shachat echem min hakvasim. There were two kvasim. Again, let's remember there were two kvasim that were matir the shtei alechem. There were two kvasim that preceded the shtei alechem that were matir, and they were considered to be two different matirim. And we discussed halachas of having pigul during one of those kvasim. So Shachat echem min hakvasim. Lechel mimenu l'machar. Now the Gemara is actually talking about what your intent was with respect to both the kvasim, but let's see. Shachat echem min kvasim lechel mimenu l'machar. If a person shechts one of the kvasim to eat from that keves, from that sheep to the following day, which is again beyond its proper time. So who pigul? So that animal, you have affected pigul with respect to that animal. However, the chavero kasher, the adjacent animal, the other animal, the second keves, is unaffected by this pigul intent. So the second animal is going to be kosher. However, if during the shechting of the first animal, a person has a pigul intent with respect to the second, not with respect to the first animal, only with respect to the second animal, so that is not a proper pigul intent, and that won't affect either carbon. So it's as if a person essentially said nothing. So who pigul v'chavero kasher? Lechel mechavero l'machar shneim ksherim. So both animals are considered to be kosher. Okay. Now the Gemara says, "My time." What is the reason for this halacha? Is the reason for this halacha not lav mishum dekivan de lav matir titehu? Since the first carbon is not a matir of the second carbon, is the reason why when a person has an intent during the first carbon, for the second carbon, is the reason why that's meaningless because that it lav mater didehu. The first carbon is not a mater of the second carbon. So Gemara says, and therefore would be a support to Rav Chisda's halacha. So Gemara says again, Rav Chisda's halacha was that if you have during one carbon or during one process, you have a mind for the second process. So therefore, that's not considered to be a good case of pigul because it's not a matter. It's not a matter of that second carbon. So he says, Gemara says no, lo. I'm sorry. The kevin delav mater didehu, since it's mater lo matzim befagabe, and therefore you cannot effect pigul in it. So Gemara says no, that's not the reason for the halacha of the kvasim. So Gemara says hasam. In that case, the halacha is that they're both kosher, that the pigul intent is meaningless. Why? Delo ikva bechad mana, because they are not sanctified in one kli. There's nothing linking the karbanos. There's nothing additional outside of even though the karbanos are not necessarily a matir of the other. There's nothing else that links the karbanos together. So therefore, if your intent with respect to the second one during the first one is not going to affect the second one. However, aval hacha de ikba bechad mana, because the levona and the kmitza are both sanctified in the same kli, in the same vessel. So there is linkage through that vessel, and therefore your intent from one can extend to the next. So there's no proof. Again, it's not proving one way or another, but there's not necessarily a proof from this brisa with respect to our case. Gemara understands that this is enough of a difference that you cannot support Rav Chisda's halacha, and it's possible that the Charifa de Pupadisa, even within this brisa, would still have an opinion, and the brisa is not a support against them. Continuing, Amar of Hamnuna. Ha milsa ivla li Reb Chanina. The following matter was given over to me from Reb Chanina. I learned by Reb Chanina that takila li kekuli talmudai, and it was as dear to me as all of my Talmudic learning. Hikter komets lahakter levona. If a person offers up the komets with a pigul intent, this is basically our halacha here, lahakter levona, with an intention to burn the levona outside. I'm just going to say outside of the proper time. So, and then it continues, le'echol shirayim lemachar. We'll see exactly what that means. And or le'echol shirayim lemachar, to eat the or to eat the shirayim the following day. So pigul. That's considered to be a case of pigul. So it's similar to our case, except that it adds in le'echol shirayim lemachar. Okay? So So I'm sorry. That's the halacha. It's considered to be pigul. So Gemara Kamash Malan. So what exactly is this teaching coming to tell us? If it's coming to tell us just the general halacha of the Charifi de Pupadisa, that haktara can be mefagelas another haktara. So lema hikter komas lakta levona. So you don't need to add the second clause in the statement. If it just wanted to tell you the halacha of Remeir, that if a person has a pigul intent during part of them, only one of the matirim and not the second matir, that does affect pigul, then you don't need the middle clause. You don't need to talk about the levon. All you need to talk about is having in mind during the komets to affect the shirayim, and you didn't have any intention with respect to the levona, and that would tell you the halacha of Remeir. So Gemara says, I'm sorry, imifal l'chatimata kamashvalan. Lema hikter komets lachal shirayim l'machar. So that just state that plainly. Hikter komets lachal shirayim l'machar. Now, itarvayu, if you wanted to teach us both halachos in one statement, itarvayu kamashvalan. If you wanted to teach us both of those halachos, lema hikter komets lahakter levona v'lachal shirayim l'machar. It should have stated it a little bit differently. Hikter komets. You brought up you offered the komets lahakter levona, with the intention of offering up the levona outside of its proper time, v'lechol shirayim l'machar, and or to eat the shirayim the following day. So therefore, it would teach you two discrete halachos. So the way it's currently stated, it doesn't teaches us neither of those halachos. Well, it doesn't seem to. The question is, what is the chiddush in this case? The way it's currently constructed. So Amar Rav Ada bar Ava, Rav Ada bar Ava says, I'll explain to you the statement as follows. La'olam, really, the 1 second, who stated this halacha? Rav Chanina. Rav Chanina held was as follows. Really, Rav Chanina holds Ein haktara b'fagel haktara, not like the charifi de pupadisa, that generally a haktara cannot affect another haktara. And ve'ein mifagel mechatzi mater, and he holds like the chachamim, that you cannot be mifagel, you cannot have a pigul intent with only part of the mater. So how does this case work? B'shani hacha, this case, the reason why this case is a valid case of pigul is because the pashale machshava b'kula mincha, because your thought process essentially envelops the entire mincha process here. You're doing a kometz. While doing the kometz, you're having a thought process with respect to the levona, with respect to the shirayim. So because your thought process is throughout the entire mincha process, because your pigul thought touches essentially each of the processes that are involved in this mincha. So therefore, it would be considered to be a case of pigul, and that, to him, I know also this is now also going to be the dearest halacha for all of you as well, but that he felt was one of his most important rulings from that he learned from Rav Chanina. Okay, so Tani Tama Kama der Yitzchak Bar Abba Hikter Kometz Lechel Shirayim. If a person brought a kometz lechel shirayim with the intent of bringing a shirayim l'divrei hakol pigul, everyone agrees that is a case of pigul. Now you're possibly thinking that this is the machlokas between Reb Meir and the Chachamim. Like that's not the divrei hakol. That is the Mishnah that we talked about. That there's specifically a machlokas. It's where you have intent during one of the matirim. So Gemara says, "V'hamiflik pligi." What do you mean? We have a machlokas with respect to this halacha. So Gemara says, "No, ela ema amend the brisa to stay l'divrei hakol pasul." Everyone agrees it's pasul, meaning at least the chachamim agree, even though it's not pigul, they agree it's pasul. It's meaning it's pasul midrabanan. Gemara says v'lema. So Gemara says once you're amending the brisa, v'lema hareza pigul. Say that it's pigul. Just keep the word pigul, and just say v'Reb Meir he, that the brisa is just stating the halacha of Reb Meir. So Gemara says Tana. So Tana divrei hakol esnuya. So the Tana had the text of divrei hakol. He knew that it was divrei hakol. So he says pigul b'pasol michlafle. So pigul and pasol can be interchanged. He understood that those are very easily exchanged. So therefore, he felt that was a more accurate amendation to the brisa. Harezeh b'divrei hakol o michlafle. Meaning he had remembered that it said divrei hakol. He didn't believe that person could change that there was a mistake in that divrei hakol and harezeh would be interchanged, but pigul and pasol are similar enough. I think probably in the way that they're written, and also just, I mean, they have this a similar result as well, that it's not good. The question is, to what extent is it not good? So therefore, he felt that was the correct reinterpretation of the brisa. Hadron alach hakometz esamincha. So now you got two prakim under your belt of Menachos. Only I think 100 more, something like that, more blood. Okay. Yeah. So if a person in bringing again, this is continuing on with the similar halachas of pigul. If a person in bringing the mincha takes the kemitza of the mincha and offering up the kemitza, he has a pigul intent lechel davar she'ein darko lechel. So now his intent is with respect to something that is not generally eaten. So a person burns the kometz and eats the shirayim. So let's say a person has intent while offering up the kometz to eat, let's say to eat the kometz. The person separates the kometz, and now he has a pigul intent while he's separating it off to eat it. Lechel davar she'ein darko lechel. Ulahakter davar she'ein darko lahakter. Or he has in mind a pigul intent with respect to shirayim, which are generally eaten. So he has intent, I'm going to burn those at the wrong time. So the Mishnah says kosher. That is not a proper pigul intent, at least according to the Tanna Kamma in the Mishnah, and therefore the carbon is unaffected by his pigul intent, and it's kosher. Rabbi Eliezer posel. Rabbi Eliezer, we're going to have in the Gemara later on. Rabbi Eliezer, let's hope I remember which one is which. Rabbi Eliezer says posel. Now, lechol davar shedarko lechol, and the Gemara is going to elaborate exactly where that halacha comes from, where it's derived from. Lechol davar shedarko lechol. If a person, however, has in mind with respect to something that his intention it should be eaten, ulahaktir davar shedarka lahaktir, and a pigal intent with respect to something that should be burned, but pachas mikazayis, but less than the requisite shear generally reserved for eating. So lechol less than a kazayis. So that the Mishnah says is kosher. Lechol kichatzi zayis, if he split his intent between the achila and aktara, he had intent with respect to eating a half a kazayis. Ulahaktir kachatzi zayis, and he had a pigal intent with respect to that which should be burned, another half kazayis. Therefore, fulfilling maybe perhaps a kazayis. The Mishnah says kosher she'en achila ve'aktara mitztarfen. We cannot have a chila, and even though you have the proper shear in aggregate, we cannot combine the achila and aktara to get us the shear of the kazayis. Okay. Amar Ravasi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara on the bottom of Yud Zayin Amud Aleph. Amar Ravasi, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. My time with Rabbi Eliezer. What is the reasoning for Rabbi Eliezer has halacha? Amar Kra, the pasuk says, "V'im hey achel yeh achel." If a person will surely eat mi b'sar zevach shalamav. This is the pasuk where the halacha of pigal is learned out from. V'im hey achel yeh achel mi b'sar zevach shalamav. So the double expression of hey achel yeh achel, he will surely eat. What is that necessary for? B'shtei achilos hakasav b'daber. The Torah is referencing two distinct achilos. Echad achilas adam. One is with respect to the eating of those types of things that are human consumption. Ve'echad achilas mezeach, and as well as the sacrificial consumption. Lomer lecha, what's it teaching you? Kishem shemachashen ba'achilas adam, just like a person can have a pigal intent with respect to that which those things which are within the category of human consumption. Kach machashen ba'achilas mizbeach, so too a person can have a pigal intent with respect to those things which are consumed by the mizbeach. That's step one. Ukishem shemachashen ba'achilas adam la'achilas adam, just like a person can have with respect to that which is fit for human consumption. He can have his pigal intent will extend through. If a person has pigal intent with respect to those, and then that sort of follows through. And from and with respect to achilas mizbeach, he has a pigal intent with through that 1 second. Right. So Gemara says kach. I'm sorry. Kach mechashem achilas adam lemizbeach. Just like a person can within achilas adam and within achilas mizbeach, you can linearly have your machshava. So too a person can split between the two. A person kach mechashem achilas adam lemizbeach. A person can have a intent with respect to that which is going to be offered on mizbeach on an item which is generally offered by generally fit for human consumption. Umeachilas mizbeach la'adam, and he has a pigal intent with regard to something that is generally consumed by mizbeach. He has a type of a achilas adam type of machshava, so therefore that's how he understands v'himei achel ye'achel, that you can sort of interchange the different types of achilos, and that will not affect your pigal, the result of it being pigal or not. It will become pigal. It's not considered to be not pigal. So the Gemara says, my taima, what's the reason? Mida afkinu rachmana la'aktara b'lashon achila, because the Torah refers to aktara, the burning on the mizbeach, as a type of achila. So therefore, he understands that the Torah essentially is interchanging the two. There's two different types of achilos, and therefore your intent with respect to either one is interchangeable. V'Rabbanan. Now we know that's the halacha of Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah. The Tanakama, which is the Rabbanan, obviously argues. So how do they understand this pasuk? V'Rabbanan hai da'afkinu rachmana b'lashon achila, that which the Torah utilizes the lashon of achila with respect to, it uses the double lashon of achila. So the loshna ki mechashi b'lashon achila lemizbeach, v'loshna ki mechashi b'lashon haktar lemizbeach. No, you have to be having in mind with respect to the proper item, meaning the item has to either be burned, either be consumed, which you're having a machshava about it, and you're having a consumption of machshava about it, or the item has to be an item that is generally consumed on the mizbeach. You cannot switch from one to the other. However, the type of thought that you have, it doesn't matter if your thought is a haktara thought. The loshna, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference. if your pigul intent was a intent to eat the item, lemizbeach, I'm sorry, specifically with respect to the mizbeach, even if a person has on the mizbeach an intent of eating it, because the mizbeach's burning, because the burning on the mizbeach, right, is considered to be, a person's intent obviously is, I'm going to burn this on the mizbeach at the wrong time or in the wrong place, or at the wrong time. Let's assume that's talking about, right? But his thought, he doesn't say I'm going to burn it. He says the mizbeach's going to eat it at the wrong time. So that's fine. But because the Torah uses this term of achila, even if he uses that term of achila, the Torah is teaching you that that's fine, because that's how we refer. One of the ways we refer to the burning on the mizbeach. Okay, inami, or that's one possibility of the way that Chachamim will understand the pasuk. Inami ma achila b'kezayis afaktar b'kezayis. The Chachamim also can learn out from the pasuk that it's teaching us a halacha that generally the shear of a kezayis is with respect to human consumption. What is the shear for the mizbeach? So just like the Torah is using the lashon of achila here to teach you that the mizbeach also has to consume a kezayis portion of your offering, or whatever you're burning. That's how perhaps the Chacham will understand the pasuk, not for Rabbi Eliezer's halacha. For Rabbi Eliezer. So where does Rabbi Eliezer learn this, the second halacha? Let's say the halacha of kezayis from. Where does he learn that halacha from? So Gemara says, Im kein lichler rachmana v'im he'achel. The Torah could have just said he'achel, inami im ye'achel, or could have said ye'achel. Didn't have to say he'achel, ye'achel. Used two different types of terminologies. The fact that it used two different types, shamad minei tarti. So Rabbi Eliezer understands the fact that the pasuk said he'achel, ye'achel, and could have said something a little bit differently. He understands that it's reserving itself for two distinct drashas. One drasha, his drasha, that a person can have a pigul intent from something that's generally, with respect to something that's generally eaten. He can have a haktara intent with respect to that, or vice versa. And with respect to the halacha of the kezayis, he understands that that's teaching us that as well. It's using the fact that it switches from he'achel to ye'achel will teach us the second halacha of the kezayis, that a person, just like when a person eats, a person has to eat a kezayis volume, so too when a person burns something on the mizbeach, that also again has to be a kezayis volume as well. So Amr le Rav Zera le Rav Asi. So Rav Zera, so now the Gemara is now going to analyze the halacha of Rabbi Eliezer. So Amr le Rav Zera le Rav Asi. V'itaima de Rabbi Eliezer mishum hachi. If the reasoning for Rabbi Eliezer is derived from the pasuk of v'im he'achel ye'achel, Gemara is going to want to know now: is this halacha biblical, Rabbi Eliezer's halacha, or is it rabbinic? Now, just from the Gemara itself, it seems the Gemara is more analyzing it now. If it's learned out from this pasuk, it's obviously biblical, right? It's learned out from a pasuk. If the reasoning from Rabbi Eliezer is supported by this pasuk, karis nami lechayev. So Rabbi Eliezer, if you looked in the Mishnah, Rabbi Eliezer said it was pasal. Pasal is midrabanan. Pigul would be daraisa. You would refer to it as pigul midaraisa. Midrabanan, you would say that it's pasal. It's become invalidated by your pigul intent. But it's only rabbinic because it mirrors a biblical type of pigul. But if he's learning it out from psukim, the term pasal is not in line with that type of drasha. So what's going on over here? If the reasoning, we're about 7 lines down on Yud Zayin Amud Beis. If the reasoning for Rabbi Eliezer is learned out, derived from a pasuk, karis nami l'chayev. So then the Mishnah should have said that the halacha of Rabbi Eliezer is the halacha of karis. It's a real case of pigul, and it carries with it the penalty of karis. V'chitema, so Gemara says hachanami. Maybe yes, that's accurate. That there is a karis penalty. V'ha'atu da amrat, you Rav Asi yourself said mishmei Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Moder Rabbi Eliezer she'ein anish karis. You taught us the halacha that according to Rabbi Eliezer, does not carry with it the karis penalty. So Gemara responds, Amrlei, he replied back to him, really tanahi. Really, I'm of the opinion that according to Rabbi Eliezer, it's not biblical. It's only rabbinic. But there are opinions that hold, according to Rabbi Eliezer, that it is in fact biblical. It's therefore a machlokas tanaim. It's a machlokas dispute among the tanaim. Within the shita of Rabbi Eliezer, was it rabbinic or was it biblical? And the Gemara now is going to bring a support from a brisa to show us that is in fact true. That there is a dispute between Amoraim. Is this a biblical or rabbinic halacha according to the shita? So Amalei Tanahi. Alibra de Rabbi Eliezer. There is in fact a Tanaic dispute within the shita of Rabbi Eliezer. Ikalamanda Amr Psul Deraisa. There's one opinion that holds that it is pasami deraisa. Again, learned out derived from these psukim. Vikalamanda Amr Psul Derabanan. And there are those within the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer who hold that it's only pasal midirabanan. Titania. And the Gemara is now going to bring us support from the following brisa. Hashochet es hazevach lishtos midamo lemachar. Person shechts an animal with the intent to drink, not to offer, not to sprinkle, but to drink its blood the following day. That's his pigul intent. That's what his intent is. Lahakter mibasar lemachar. Or a person has an intent to burn the basar the following day. Now again, burning the generally on the offerings are meant to be eaten, not to be burnt. Well, at least the basar of the basar portion of the animal is meant to be eaten, not to be burned. So again, he's having pigul intents with respect to different services, but not in the way that these services are supposed to be actually carried out. So lahaktir mibasar lamacha, or an intent with respect to the basar is generally eaten. He's having a pigul intent to burn it the following day, or lechol me'emur lemachar, or with respect to the imurim, which are generally burned, his pigul intent is to eat those the following day. So in any of these cases, as you probably would have presumed, kosher, that pigul intent is not effective, and therefore that does not affect the carbon, and therefore the carbon is in fact valid and not considered to be pigul. Rabbi Lazar, this is not Rabbi Eliezer, this is Rabbi Lazar, posel. Rabbi Lazar argues on the Tanakama of this brisa and says that it's pasal. It's pasal. Okay. Now a second case, another case, an additional case. Lahaniach midamo lemachar. If a person just has an intent to just leave, his intent is I'm going to leave over, not to do anything with it. I'm just going to leave over part midamo, part of the blood the following day. Rabbi Yehuda posel. So in that case, Rabbi Yehuda says it's pasal. I'm sorry. The first halacha was Rabbi Eliezer posel. The first one was Rabbi Eliezer posel. That was the machlokes between the Chum and Rabbi Eliezer. Laniach midamo lemachar, Rabbi Yehuda posel. In the second case of Laniach midamo lemachar, that was Rabbi Yehuda says it's pasal. Okay, we're going to explain exactly what Rabbi Yehuda means. Now, Rabbi Lazar comes along. Rabbi Lazar now says, Af bezu, even in this second series of cases, even in this other case where you're leaving over the blood for the following day, Af bezu Rabbi Eliezer post of Chacham Achshirim. The machlokas that we had in the first three cases, the first series of cases, between the Chacham and Rabbi Eliezer will hold true in the second case as well. Okay, so we have three different Jews. We have a Tanakama, we have Rabbi Yehuda, and then we have a Tanakama, the first case which has a machlokas, second case which Rabbi Yehuda states the opinion of pasal, and a third case where Rabbi Elazar says that we go back to the initial machlokas so that those are the three different opinions in this brisa. So now the Gemara wants to know, what does everyone hold? Rabbi Yehuda aliba deman. The Gemara chooses Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda seems to say Rabbi Yehuda posel in the second case. Rabbi Yehuda aliba deman. Now, whose opinion, with respect to the Chachamim and Rabbi Eliezer, does Rabbi Yehuda agree with? Why? Ilema aliba de Rabbanan. If Rabbi Yehuda is in line with the view of the Rabbanan, hashta. The Gemara says, how's that possible? Uma hasam. In the first case where the Chachamim were talking about the kamachashi b'lashon achila, where a person had an achila intent for the wrong thing, but a person at least had an achila intent, right? A person had an intent, let's say, to drink the blood the following day. Okay, so he had an achila type of intent with respect to the dam. Nevertheless, mechash rabbanan and the chachamim say that that's not considered to be a valid pigul intent. So hacha, here where he didn't even have an achila intent, in the second case, lo kol shkein, wouldn't the chachamim say for sure that that's not considered to be a valid type of pigul intent? So he can't hold like the chacham. So who must he agree with? Ella aliba de Rabbi Eliezer. He must be in line with the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer, because only Rabbi Eliezer will hold that this is considered to be a good pigul intent. The Amar Rabbi Lazar. So that's Rabbi Yehuda's sheet. Rabbi Yehuda says is obviously cannot be holding like a chachamim. So the fact that he says posel, that he apostles it, must be in line with the shita of Rabbi Eliezer. When Rabbi Lazar now comes along and argues on Rabbi Yehuda and says, you know what, in this case, we still have a machlokas between Rabbi Eliezer and the chachamim. So what's he saying? Rabbi Yehuda also agreed that this was only according to Rabbi Eliezer. So what is that machlokas? When Rabbi Lazar states, "Af bezu Rabbi Eliezer post of Chacham machshiran," so Rabbi Elazar, Hainu Rabbi Yehuda, they're both essentially saying the same thing. Rabbi Yehuda is just stating the statement of Rabbi Eliezer, and Rabbi Elazar is just saying that we're going to have a machlokas in this case as well. They're essentially saying the same thing. The Gemara says, "What must the resolution be?" Elalav kares yikebenayid. Yes, they both agree that. They both agree within the sheet of Rabbi Eliezer that it's not going to be good. The question is, to what extent is it not going to be good? Rabbi Yehuda is saying it's only puzzle, right? Elalav kares yikebenayid. The distinction between Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Elazar is a issue of to what extent does Rabbi Eliezer say it's considered to be pigul? Is it pigul in the sense that it only makes it, it's only pasal midrabanan, or is it in fact biblically a case of kares type of pigul? Rabbi Yehuda savar. Rabbi Yehuda holds the first case lahaniach psul ba'alma. When a person has an intent to leave it over the following day, it's only pasal. It's pasal ba'alma. And in the first case, bahanach. So Rabbi Yehuda is saying is in the first case where they were arguing with respect to kares, right? Their initial Rabbi Yehuda is saying, meaning it's just a little bit technical, but it's not super complicated. When Rabbi Yehuda says pasal, what does he mean? He means in the first case they argued, is it kares? Is it not kares? Rabbi Yehuda said when the Gemara now brings the second case in the Brisa, and Rabbi Yehuda says it's pasal. He says in this case Rabbi Eliezer is not going to say what he said originally. He's just going to say it's pasal. First case he held it was kares. In the second case, it's only pasal. What is Rabbi Elazar coming to say? V'asar Rabbi Elazar l'meimar idi v'idi pasal ve'imbo kares. Rabbi Elazar says, no. There is no concept of kares in this type of case with respect to Rabbi Eliezer. So he's saying that their same machlokas that they had originally, which was not a machlokas with respect to kares, is going to hold true in this case as well. It's all going to be a midrabanan halacha. Vasar Rabbi Lazar lemeimar idi v'idi pasal. Both cases are pasal. Ve'ein bo kares. So both cases will be pasal, and therefore will not. And Rabbi Lazar will hold their pasal, and does not carry with it a penalty of kares. That's now how the Gemara. So the Gemara wants to prove that there is a machlokas. That's now currently how the Gemara wants to prove that there's a machlokas between two different tanaim according to the view of Rabbi Eliezer. If I explain the next part, it's going to take more than 5 minutes, so I'm going to stop here.